Hello, Soul Sister. Welcome to another episode of Midlife Love Out Loud. I have Arielle Ford in the house today. Arielle, thank you for spending some time with us. You are such a rock star when it comes to love. Thank you for being here.
I'm super happy to be with you.
Yeah, I've been following you and watching you and connecting with you for years, and I'm just deeply grateful because you just really are a huge rock star when it comes to helping people manifest love, know what a soulmate is, know what love is, and all the ins and outs of that. And we are going to cover a lot of ground today, and so I'm just so thrilled. With that said, let me let everybody know, if they may not know who you are. Arielle is a celebrated love and relationship expert, author, and speaker whose mission is to help people find love, keep love, and most importantly, be love. Let's take a breath into that. Yes. She's a gifted writer and the award-winning author of 11 nonfiction books, including the international bestseller, The Soulmate Secret, Manifest the Love of Your Life with the Law of Attraction. So good, so good. And she's got a lot of other groundbreaking books. And I want to let you know that she's also called the Cupid of Consciousness and the Fairy Godmother of Love. Who doesn't need a fairy godmother of love? I love that. I love that so much. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is her debut novel, The Love Thief, which is a roller coaster ride of love, betrayal, and unexpected transformation with a juicy revenge subplot and a surprise ending. We are going to cover so many hot topics today, and I'm just going to dive in with you right now because we are talking about love. We're talking about manifesting love. And why do you believe, let's just dive right in. Why do you believe happiness is the wrong goal for us to have when it comes to love? And how do you define what love and a soulmate is? That's a huge topic right here. So let's just dive right in.
Well, you know what? Let's start with what I believe a soulmate is and what love is, because the happiness thing is going to make a whole lot more sense when we talk about the love thing. So I believe that a soulmate is first and foremost somebody you can completely be yourself with, somebody with whom you share unconditional love, and most importantly, when you look into their eyes, you have the experience of being home. Now, if you think about that definition, there are already many soulmates in your life. It could be your parents, your siblings, your kids, your coworkers, your neighbors, your cats, your dogs, your other pets. So with single women, the biggest mistake most of them make is they walk around with this belief, love is missing from my life. Mm-hmm. I have a love deficit. And when you're vibrating at that frequency, it is impossible to find romantic love because the message you're sending to the universe is, I have no love.
Yep.
So my best advice is that you start each day with a little practice. It's actually called the gratitude practice, where you close your eyes, you drop into your heart, and you focus on all the people that you already love, that you know love you, and you send them each a wave of love. And you fill yourself up with a reminder that you already have an abundance of love in your life. And when you're then vibrating at the frequency of my life is filled with love, your heart becomes magnetic to romantic love. So if you do nothing else, if you get nothing else out of this conversation today, start to acknowledge how much love you already have.
I love that, and I love that we started there, and I love that you just zoomed right in, not only to the whole concept of if you have a love deficit, what are you sending out and what are you attracting? And the fact that there is an abundance. And if we can really own that and feel that, the magnet, the vibration changes. And that's where I think people get lost when it comes to the law of attraction. They're like, I keep saying I want love. I keep saying I want love. I want my soulmate. But inside they're going, nobody loves me. I have no love. And what is the universe
and the truth is, did you ever read the book Conversations with God?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this scene in the book where Neil starts yelling at God. and he says, I just want my life back.
Mm.
And God says to him, Neil, you can't have anything that you want. Because when we're in a state of wanting, we're affirming that we don't have and we can't have something.
Mm.
And it's the same with love. So if you're walking around with the beliefs, I'm too old, I'm too fat, I'm too damaged, all the good ones are taken, I live in the wrong place, online dating doesn't work. Here's what I know for sure. There is no shortage of love in the world. There's no shortage of love in the world. Online dating does work. I got 3 emails this week, all from women over 60, 2 of whom who've never been married, who met their fiance or now husband on Match.com. Now, why did it work for them and not somebody else? Because I showed them for free how to do it. And anybody who goes to my website, you can download a free online dating guide. So there's no shortage. It's just that you tried it. It didn't work for you. Yes, it didn't work for you for 2 reasons. 1, you put up the wrong profile and the wrong pictures. And 2, most importantly, you got easily disappointed. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you're online dating, 90% of the people you connect with are going to disappoint you, and they're going to ghost you, and they're not going to look like their pictures, and they're not the right one. And so what? You're only looking for one, and they didn't reject you because they don't know you. But if you want to be this pity party, oh, poor me, nobody writes back to me, or then good, have a pity party. And I promise you, 1 year from now and 5 years from now and 10 years from now, you are still going to be alone, and it's going to be your fault because you allowed your mind to take over and say, oh, I've been rejected again.
Yeah.
So it's your job to manage the monkey mind. I'm telling you, these 3 women, 2 of whom have never been married, one's now 62, one's 67, couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
And they're not size 2 beautiful, super rich women. They're just ordinary women. They look their age, but they put up the right information, and they spend a half hour every day reaching out, because the women who find love online don't wait for someone to find them. They reach out. Okay. And like I said, all of this is free. Just go
everything you just said was like gold. I mean, it's an inside job, because if we're feeling unlovable, if we're feeling like something's wrong, what are we putting out in the universe? How are we opening to this whole journey? If we're taking everything personally when we're online, how is that going to bode well? It's not going to bode well. When, it's like, oh, I might as well give up. It's not working. And the whole thing about all the people that are not necessarily a fit, I always say, great, that's wonderful.
Right.
Get them out of the way. Let's keep
so there's 2 things. So just say the word train to me in a moment, and I'll tell you about the second thing is, but when you're in this state of, well, how do I not feel unlovable? Here's how you do that. You set an egg timer or a timer on your phone for 3 minutes. And for 3 minutes, I want you to say the most horrible, hideous, mean stuff to yourself you've ever said. I am the ugliest woman who ever lived. I am completely unlovable. God hates me and doesn't want me to be happy. There is no love out there for me, like the soup Nazi from Seinfeld. No soup for you. No love, right? No love for you. Right? And I want you to do this, like as mean as you can be to yourself for 3 minutes. And I promise you, you can't do it for 3 minutes, because at some point you're going to start to laugh, because your rational mind is going to start to argue back and say, well, no, that's not true. My mom loves me. My best friend loves me. My dog loves me. And you're going to see. But here's what it's going to do. It's like my sister, Debbie Ford, used to teach people about the dark side. She always said, like, trying to deny your dark side is like being in a swimming pool and trying to push a beach ball under the water. You can only hold it under the water for a few seconds, and then it bounces up and it hits you in the face. Yeah. That's what the negativity. You need to release the pressure, because yes, while you should love yourself more, when you can't, you can't. So indulge it. Like I said, only for 3 minutes. And then here's the important part. At the end of 3 minutes, you go and stand in front of a mirror and you say some nice things to yourself. I'm a really good person. I volunteered doing such and such. I drive my mother to the doctor. I do this, and I help people, and whatever you can say to yourself, or I'm working out every day and I'm looking pretty good. I'm pretty fit. Or, I'm doing the best that I can, trying to take care of whatever it is, fill yourself back up. And you can do this multiple times a day. I mean, I still say horrible things to myself. I mean, one of my favorite things, we'll talk about this when we talk about the love thief, is when somebody pisses me off, I go into revenge mode. I start thinking, oh, how can I get them back? And I have a very active imagination. Now, do I act on it? No, because I am a mature adult that has self-control. Do I want to go on, slap them up the side of the head? I do, but I don't, so I indulge myself. I spend 3 minutes. Okay, what are all the ways I could get revenge? And then I think about, okay, well, listen, nobody did this on purpose. They're doing the best they can at the level of consciousness they're coming from. Maybe this is just karma between the two of us. And in my past life, I did this to them. I talk myself through it until I can get to a place of neutrality, not necessarily forgiveness, because that's a hard one, but at least get to neutral where I'm neutral in my heart, where I don't want to kill somebody.
Yeah. Amazing. And can we give ourselves that compassion? It's like, oh, the revenge, and it's like, so, I mean, I see that so often where women rake themselves over the coals because of something they said, something they did. It's like, can we slow the process down and actually give ourselves that beautiful, loving, conscious, okay, I don't have to beat myself up. I don't have to be so angry to myself. I mean, this is what we're talking about, is this gentle, loving journey to bring ourselves to this present time so that we are vibrating in an energetic of love. That's how I'm viewing the be love part. Do you want to add to that?
Well, being love. So let's go back to the question I didn't answer, which, what is love? Okay. So unfortunately, thanks to Disney and all the fairy tales we read growing up, we've been brainwashed to think that love is a feeling. Love, it's like champagne bubbles going through my system. And what the state of being in love is nature's greatest drug high. It's a cocktail of oxytocin and dopamine and adrenaline, and it's your brain on drugs, and it feels great, but it has no resemblance to what real love is. None at all. I mean, you've just met this person. You don't even know them. So how could you think that you're in love with them? You're just on a drug high and it feels great. Yeah. I like to call it the socially acceptable form of insanity, because that's really what it is.
And everybody wants it.
And we want it more than anything. And in fact,
it's a high.
You probably know who Dr. Helen Fisher is. She's the world's leading love anthropologist. She teaches at Tufts, and she is, like the scientist behind eHarmony. She's just brilliant. Anyway, I was talking to her the other day, and she was telling me, she said, getting over a broken heart is actually harder than recovering from a cocaine addiction. That's how powerful those drugs are. So what is love? Love is a behavior. Love is a choice. Love is an action. Love is a way of being. Love is a decision. And it doesn't often come with feeling good. And sometimes you do feel good. And you can love somebody and simultaneously have feelings of hate for them. But it doesn't mean that you don't love them. And really, if you want to spend your life with somebody who's your soulmate life partner, you're going to have to embrace the fact that, yes, initially you're going to be in this state called being in love. And after 6 months to 3 years, it's going to go away. And it's not going to come back very often.
Yeah.
But if you're lucky and you've chosen wisely, you'll move to the better level of love, the mature adult love, where you have what human beings need more than anything, which is to feel emotionally and physically safe, to know that this partner is your safe place to land, that they've got your back, that they're going to love you on your good days and especially on your bad days. And they're going to realize that you're an imperfect being, as are they.
Yeah.
And you're going to love them even more for their imperfections. And can you do this at love at first sight? Absolutely not. It doesn't happen that way. You know, people say, oh, well, I'll know when I meet them. No, you won't.
Yeah.
You won't. Now, sometimes men do. I've met more men who've known. Have I met any women who said, yes, I knew? Maybe a couple, you know.
Why do you think that is?
Okay, so if you were going to go to apply for a really high level job, you know, and you walked in, would you not Google them first? Would you not spend some time talking to people in the company and asking clients about them and really vet them, and then have multiple meetings to really find out, well, what are the bonus packages that come with this, and what's the culture of the place like, and do I really want to, give up what I'm currently? You would vet them. But women think, oh no, I know in my heart that he's the one. Okay, well, there are 3 ex-wives, 2 of whom had restraining orders on them. They can't keep a steady job. They have no financial responsibility, blah, 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 blah. You know, so finding and vetting and choosing your life partner is the single biggest, decision of your life. Yeah. And it doesn't happen in a moment or in an instant. The minimum amount of time you need to vet somebody and spend time with them is a year. Yeah. People always say, well, how do I know if he or she's my soulmate? Well, let's see. You've spent a year with them. You've met their friends and family. They've met your friends and family. They say what they say. They show up the way they say they're going to show up.
And how are they feeling? Are you able to be yourself? Are they honoring you? Do they have your back? Are you able to?
Right.
Are you able
all of that. And so here's some of the markers you want to look for. You want to have clear communication. And that can be learned. That can be totally learned. Yeah. You want to have some chemistry, but chemistry is actually the least important part of it. Yeah. You want to have connection. You want to have compatibility. But most importantly, the single number one indicator of long-term possibility is a shared vision for the future. You both want to live in New Jersey. You both want to have children, or you're both accepting of embracing each other's things. You both prefer to vacation at the beach. You don't mind that he wants to play golf 3 times a week. He doesn't mind that you want to have your book club over. You have this shared vision for the future. It doesn't have to be identical, but there has to be a lot of respect for each other's kind of future. I did this video shoot the other day with this guy who's in his early 30s who is also a life coach and also a videographer. And he was telling me about his dating life. And I said, well, do you want to have kids? Well, maybe, it depends. It's like, no, wrong answer. You're what? No, he was 36. You're 36 years old. You can't be dating with women. Women know. Yes, I want to have kids. No, I don't want to have kids. That is not a choice you make later in life. Yeah. And he, it turns out that in the language of attachment theory, there's secure type, anxious type, and avoidant. He's an avoidant. Freedom is his number one value. Yeah. I said, well, maybe you're not really looking for a wife. You could have lots of monogamous relationships, but avoidant types have a hard time in marriage. And the exception is I have a niece who's an avoidant. Her first marriage didn't work out. She's now married a second time to another avoidant, and they're perfect together. She's a flight attendant. She is never home. He works from home. They both have successful careers. They're together a couple of days a week. They're so happy when they're together, and they're so happy when they're not together. But these are the things you can't find out on the first 5 dates. Right?
Exactly. All right, sister, take a breath into that. There's a lot we're laying down here because there's all this excitement and desire and, oh my God, the clock is ticking and I'm getting older. And we need to slow this down and go, wait a second, do we have to put all of our energy into this because, oh my God, I'm 60 or 65 or 70. It's like, let's do this in an honoring, conscious way. So we do have this compatibility and love and all the things that you're sharing. Oh my God, so many golden nuggets. I have one more question before we take a quick break, because I really can't wait to talk about your special book. The Beatles song, All You Need Is Love. And that you say it's a big lie.
Yes.
What do you mean
Well,
by
I
that?
think I just explained what it is, because we have bought into all you need is love. Well, I'm in love with you, so it doesn't matter that we're completely incompatible, have no connection, our shared vision, there is no shared vision. So love is not enough. It's like, I've seen women's lists. Oh, well, he has to earn more money than me. It's like, what is the matter with you? What you want is somebody who's financially responsible with whatever amount of money they earn.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. So true. And the lists that people have of what they want and what love really is and what you're sharing is just so gold. I can't wait to dive in to The Love Thief. The tagline for The Love Thief, I got to just let you know right now, is he broke her heart, crushed her dreams until karma intervened. So we're going to talk about what the book is and what inspired her to write it and why you must read it. Okay, so you've been writing a bunch of books, like you have international bestsellers, all these nonfiction books. Before we even go into this book, what inspired you to write this book?
Oh, well, writing a novel was never, ever on my to-do list. And, what happened was one day my husband said to me, you should write a book about me and you should call it I Married an Alien. And I was like,
oh my God,
there's just no possible way I'm going to do that. And he was half kidding and half not. And then I started thinking about it. Well, if I was going to write a book about Brian, what would it be? And I realized it would be more about how he shows up in the world and his personality, because I call him a love chakra on legs. He's just loving, kind, compassionate, good listener, that sort of thing. So I'd want a character in my novel to have those qualities. Then I thought, I am not going to write a novel. I don't even want to write another nonfiction book. And then the first line of the book came to me. It just was like, my mother was right. And this line started to haunt me. And then a movie in my head began, and I started seeing the book and that it would take place in India, and it would be about this single woman whose whole life was dreaming about having the white picket fence, and she meets Prince Charming, and then Prince Charming breaks her heart and she wants revenge, and she ends up getting revenge, and all kinds of good stuff happens to her. So I kept resisting writing it until one day I had a conversation with God, and I said, okay, God, if I'm really supposed to write this book, then I need to go to India to do some research. And a business class ticket costs $7,000, which I don't have today. So if I manifest the ticket, then I'll go to India and I'll write the book. 48 hours later, I had the ticket.
Love it.
So I went to India and I spent 4.5 years writing this book that insisted on being written. And now it's coming out June 27th.
Oh my God, it's coming out really, really soon. Oh my God, that's so exciting. How does it feel having done this journey? I mean, we're going to get more deep into it, but like, wow, Arielle, this is amazing.
It's amazing. I had to learn a new skill because I quickly discovered writing fiction has no relationship to nonfiction at all. It was like before I excelled at doing mani-pedis. That was my career. And now somebody handed me a scalpel and said, do brain surgery. That's what the difference between nonfiction and fiction is. So it feels like a really large accomplishment. I'm more than thrilled with how it turned out. And, they say you don't remember pain. So I don't remember the pain of 4.5 years of the learning curve of writing a book. And now I'm just really focused on doing my part and getting it out to the world, like talking to you and your audience.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I know in the book, there is an evil character. Can you share a little bit about the story and why somebody, what are they going to get from this story? Why did you write it?
Okay, so the evil one in the book, the man who is Prince Charming, toxic narcissist, is a composite character of 3 of my girlfriends who had really bad relationships. All 3 of them were beautiful, successful, and desperately wanting to find love. And all three of them manifested a man like my evil character. And all of them got their hearts broken. And all of them got large sums of money stolen from them by this man. And I was the one on the other end of the phone or holding their hand, watching them go on this roller coaster of deep grief and so much rage and anger and disbelief that it happened to them, that they fell for it, because these are, women with advanced degrees. All three of them were famous, by the way. I'm not going to out them, but you would say, how could that happen to so-and-so?
Yeah.
And it did. So I wanted to, well, the story, like I said, it came to me like a movie, but it was very clear. The story is for anyone who's ever had their heart broken and their dreams crushed, and what to do about it, how to know that at the end of the day, you are deserving of love, that love will find you again, that there is justice in the universe, that karma will take them out eventually.
Oh, so inspirational. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking about narcissists. Well, first of all, let me just say how wonderful to have a book that actually gives people hope and keeps them going. That's why I do this podcast. And that's why I bring amazing people on like yourself, because there are a lot of women that want to throw in the towel. There are a lot of women that are just like, there are too many crummy guys out there. There are those narcissists, sociopaths, people that are really hurting people. And we hear some of these really tragic stories. So firstly, how wonderful that you're doing the work that you're doing and that there's this book to inspire and to keep people going. And I'm curious what you might offer this soul sister right now about red flags when it comes to these potentially shiny guys that look really great. And
so they particularly go after successful women. Okay, so if this has happened to you, it's actually testament to how special you are. Okay, so that's one thing to know. And the red flags are, okay, they know how to whisper in the ear of a lonely woman everything she ever wanted to hear. So the old saying, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. First red flag. Second red flag, they move very quickly. Like on the first date, they'll say something like, I've been looking for you my whole life. All right. And so they know how to talk to you in such a way that you feel seen and heard and understood. I got a call the other day from a woman who's a very well-known life coach who I'd sent an advance copy to, who said, I know you wrote this book for me. And I said, what are you talking about? I mean, she's somebody I know, but she's not like a close friend. She goes, oh, yes, I just found out that my husband of 10 years had another life, even before we got married. And for 10 years, he's been leading a double life with 2 families. And I had no idea. And this is a woman who, has done all the deepest work, has a PhD after her name, and said to me, you wrote that book for me. And I said, unfortunately, you're part of a very large sisterhood of women who've been targeted and then brokenhearted by these men who excel at what they do. They're charming, they're charismatic, they know how to fake emotion, because when you confront them, you could say, well, you didn't tell me about your 2 previous wives. And he'd say something like, yes, I'm so sorry. I so wanted you in my life that I was afraid that if you knew, you wouldn't want me. You're the only one who can help me be a better man. I want to be a better man. That's why I need you, because you're smart enough and brave enough to call me on my stuff. That's how they talk to you. And you're thinking, right? So you're kind of screwed. So this is the thing. This is why you don't want to have sex with somebody too quickly, because you did have sex and it was the greatest sex of your life and all the oxytocin went off and now you're bonded and you've already seen the romantic side of you. He wined and dined you and whispered in your ear all the things you most wanted to hear, and you're hooked. Like the cocaine addiction, you are hooked and you keep going. I know that good guy's in there, even though he's lied to me and he's betrayed me and he's done this, that, and the other thing. I want my drug back. So it's a really sad thing. And so my character in the book, Holly, goes through all of these emotions. She's on this roller coaster, and not only was she betrayed, he betrayed her with her best friend and business partner, And when she discovered that, she got in a car accident and nearly died. So her life is totally a mess on every level, physically, emotionally, mentally, financially. She's at the bottom. She comes back. And
I was
that's
going to say, and she comes back.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is a novel, and it's filled with your wisdom as a love coach all the way through. You know, you're a love expert that you are. I called you a love coach, love expert that you are. Amazing. I can't wait to read it. I'm so excited that it's coming out soon. We're totally going to make sure everything's in the show notes when it comes to how to find out more about you and all your links. So many golden nuggets. Before I tell them about your special gift, because you have a special gift for them, you drop something around sex and the oxytocin, and I do want to go there just for at least a minute. Women often say, when should I have sex with someone? And I always say it's such a personal thing, and it depends on the scenario, and there are nuances, and then there's, of course, what are you wanting? What's going on? I mean, there's so many pieces to it, but I am curious, what's your take on, you meet somebody, they're checking the boxes, you have the compatibility, you're getting to know each other, you're feeling really good. Do you have kind of a blueprint around this? What would you say to someone?
Well, I think you need to decide for yourself, but you need to know what the risk is. Okay. Yeah. So if another human being brings you sexual pleasure, however they're doing it, that's when the oxytocin bomb goes off. And also, the thing I want to mention is when they're wooing you and they're whispering all those things to you and they're moving things along quickly, that's called being love bombed. They are love bombing you, and it's intentional, and you've been targeted. So on the sex side of things, they amp it up, because once the oxytocin goes up, that's where the addiction begins. Yeah. So you have to decide for yourself, have I checked them out enough? Do they say, are they doing what they say they're going to do? Have you checked out their past? Like, it's okay to check people out, especially if you're a person of means and you're over 40 and you've spent your life doing stuff. You don't want to start sharing a life with somebody who has already filed bankruptcy twice and is supporting 7 kids by 5 women or whatever it is. You need to know this stuff before you give your body to them. So it's a personal thing, but I feel like it's my job to let you know what the risk is, and then you decide for yourself.
100%. And that's a lot. I use the word risk a lot in the shadow work that I've been trained in. We always say, assess the risks. What's the risk if you go there? What's the risk if you don't? And then to be able to sit in between the two and to make the wisest decision that you can. So much wisdom here, sister. So much wisdom here. All right. You have a heart healing yoga series. Tell us about this, and we'll put the link in the show notes. What is this that you're giving to this woman?
So I went to the world's top yoga teachers, people like Sean Korn, and I said to Sean, could you create a little video for me that talks about the yoga philosophy of forgiveness, and then take us through some poses to get to forgiveness? And she said yes, as did the other teachers. So it's a 10 video series, and each one addresses an intense emotion: anger, gratitude, betrayal, grief, physical pain, living with uncertainty. And all of those are free at my website, thelovethief.com, if you pre-order the book. So you pre-order the book because it's not coming out for a little bit yet. And then you get to download these videos, because all of us have experienced these intense emotions. Now, I don't personally do yoga every day, but I have a lot of friends that do. But I've done all these videos because the other day I was really angry about something. So I went and did, the anger video. And the other day there was someone I didn't want to forgive. So I did the forgiveness one. So regardless of whether you're a regular yoga person or not, the poses are easy. The philosophy is priceless.
So wonderful. And I also, and we will put the link in the show notes. I just really want to acknowledge you for being so real here. You and myself and so many of the people I talk to, we're just real people. We're not like these perfect people. We have moments, we have our challenges. And the cool thing is we have tools, and we work these tools on a regular basis, and being able to go, I feel vengeful, or, oh, I feel angry, or, I'm just feeling really sad right now, to not sweep it under the rug. And so I really just want to just thank you for being so honest with us that you have moments too, because not only have you laid down so many amazing tools and things for this woman to try, that you're a real person doing it as well, and sharing that they actually work, and that you're sharing hope about your clients and all these women that are out there on Match.com at all different ages and sizes and all of that. So thank you for your honesty. Thank you for the work you're doing in the world. Really, Arielle, thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I can be that honest, because there's an old saying, you teach what you need to learn most. And everything I teach, I needed to learn. So any mistakes you're making out there, I did them first.
Yes, I'm raising my hand for those that are listening on the audio. Yes, me too. And I continue to do the journey as well. Well, thank you for your time, Arielle. This was such a pleasure. So amazing. So beautiful. And Soul Sister, woo! I hope you were taking notes on this one. I hope you really got a lot out of this. Really take a breath into what it takes to open to love, and what love really is, and what's possible for you, and to be gentle with yourself on this journey, because it is a journey, and you deserve love beyond your wildest dreams, and it's all around you. And it's within you. And now you have some more tools for your toolbox. So work them, order the book, and get this video series. And I hope you got some amazing value out of today. And if you got value out of today, and I know you did, please share it with at least one soul sister. If you haven't subscribed to the station, please subscribe to the station so you don't miss an episode. We, as you know, have amazing guests like Arielle coming on a regular basis. And there's just lots of things to learn and grow with. So with that said, have an amazing rest of the week. And I will see you next week for the next episode. Thanks again, Arielle.
You're welcome.
Bye.